Welcome, you're listening to Passages. I'm Drew, and I got Jason and Tim with me tonight. We're excited to be here with you, and before we get down to business, let me encourage you to go over to cobbpublishing.com and check out the titles that are available there. Cobb Publishing has a lot of great books for Bible study, for devotional, and a brand new book that I want to tell you about that they have available is J.W. McGarvey's Jesus and Jonah, updated edition. It just came out, I think it went on to Amazon today. So check that out and go to the website. You'll see a lot of other great books to choose from there, cobbpublishing.com. Also, shameless plug here, my book Burdens, the collection of short stories. It's now out in paperback form, so you can find that at riddlecreekpublishing.com or amazon.com. Little cheaper than the hardback. Same stories, same delightful tales.
Does a question
enjoy.
about, does it have the same artwork that's in the
same
hardback?
artwork?
Okay, cool. The artwork in the book is wonderful too.
Just a little.
The stories are great. The stories are good, but the artwork was really cool.
I love the illustrations. Yeah. It's something I really wanted in that, and I'm glad it came out the way that it did. So
I tell you, you got a little publicity this week. I heard a little podcast where these two ladies that do book reviews were really talking up the short stories.
Yeah, I had some good review on A Couple of Bees is the YouTube channel. You can check it out. And they also have an interview that I enjoyed doing with them. It was really nice of them to have me on their program show. I don't know what you call a YouTube.
I almost brought my copy to get another autograph after listening to them talk about it. So, so guys, I want to start tonight with something I saw in the news, and then I want to jump into a list. I'm going to put this in the category, I think, of food news. At least I think.
If you were a hot dog, you were starving, would you eat yourself?
Okay. So I don't know if y'all seen this or not, but Cheez-It, you know, the company that makes the horrible little orange crackers.
Let me stop you right there. Horrible? Cheez-Its are wonderful.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. But
okay, I don't want to
I'm sort
throw
of
you off track.
Non-committal on Cheez-Its.
I could eat a whole box of Cheez-Its.
I'm not a Cheez-It fan. But so Cheez-It, who is a great little cracker to some.
Thank you.
The wrong people, and then really kind of nasty to those of us who like real cheese products. Even though Cheez-It is the cheesiest, put me in, coach. I'm the cheesiest. I'm feeling cheesy this morning. All right, enough Cheez-It commercials. You've seen the commercial with the block.
Yep.
So they've announced a brand new limited time roadside attraction for summer 2024, the Cheese Inn Diner, a destination in the Catskills of New York where every menu item centers on cheesy, salty, baked snack crackers, even the dessert menu. I was looking through.
So they've baked Cheez-Its into everything.
Everything. So they have a cheese, CHEEZ burger, which has pimento cheese, which is a plus, lettuce, pickles, extra big Cheez-It cracker. We see a cracker-crusted big grilled cheese sandwich.
That'd be okay.
Cheesy chicky tendies. Baked white cheddar mac and cheese it topped with cracker crumble. Cheez-It fries. They got 3 varieties of those.
We're doing good so far.
Sounds like they're pulverizing the crackers for every recipe.
Doing it like that casserole
like
thing
a
on
crumble,
top or whatever.
Cornflakes on your casserole.
Yeah.
Cheez-It biscuit. I mean, some decent stuff. They do have a deluxe Cheez-It milkshake, which is a vanilla base blended with Cheez-Its.
I think that's where we need to stop.
That sounds
may have gone too far.
kind of gross. But as I was reading this article, I got to thinking about snack foods, and I wanted to just do a list, and I searched for a list of the top snack foods. And I found this list on the 25 most popular snacks in America from tastytable.com. And this is pretty recent, March 26th. This is a company, looking at their website, it looks like they're based out of Indiana, which is probably why I disagree with them on some of these choices.
They have some different taste buds up there.
I think so. So number 25, I'm going to go from their worst to the best, according to them. And let's just talk about how much we disagree with some of these.
Okay.
Number 25, which they had as the worst, is Snickers. And that's when I knew this list was already
a disaster.
This better
be a good list.
I mean, there better be things.
If that's
Snickers
the low
is the worst,
point,
because Snickers is in my top 10 favorite
that's good
snacks.
stuff.
Like
Satisfies you.
You know,
I mean, I keep them in the refrigerator at home. When I cut grass, I come in and get a Coke, or actually a Diet Dr. Pepper and a Snickers bar. That is how I reward myself for working. So
you
that
ever noticed how quickly a bag of fun-size Snickers can disappear?
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is.
Hey, one of the most expensive things I ever bought in South America was Snickers at the local tienda down there, and I think I paid more for it than I did one of my meals one night. But I needed a pack of Snickers bars. I think it was 6 of them. So number 24 on this list, and I take offense to this one too, is Ritz crackers. I love the Ritz cracker.
Yeah, I like Ritz.
Sliced cheese, put it on it. You can use it to cook in different dishes.
How are there going to be 23 things better
I will
than
tell you,
these?
last night there was a sleeve of Ritz with me in the recliner and a thing of peanut butter.
Nothing better.
And just
That's good.
I got home late Monday night and ate a sleeve of Ritz with slicing cheese and putting slices of cheese on it.
good.
It was
doubt.
wonderful. So already I knew this list was a problem. Number 23 is Pringles. Who is making this list? It's just poor. The Pringles is a good chip. 22 is the Hershey's, the original Hershey chocolate bar. 21 was Planters Peanuts. I'm not a huge peanut fan, so
I mean, peanuts are in Snickers.
yeah,
Right.
So how do you put Snickers behind it? Because you got peanuts with all kinds of other great things.
You've got chocolate and peanuts and
yeah,
Snickers.
you got
so,
peanuts wrapped in heaven,
Yeah.
and then you got peanuts.
so I was bothered by that. This next one should not have been on the list, and I like it. It's a candy, not a snack. Starburst.
No,
This is when I
that's
knew
not
the
even
list was
top
a
25
problem.
for me.
M&M's.
Are we going to come back to? Are we going to come back
which
to?
M&M?
Are we
Which,
coming back to sweet, or was that the only sweet thing on
Oh,
there?
we'll get back to some
coming back
sweet.
to
I
some
think.
sweet stuff
So
there.
there's M&M's, and it just said the original M&M's. Now I'm a big fan of the peanut M&M.
peanut, you get a little protein.
One per baseball game, 1 pack per baseball game is what gets me through baseball. Then number 18 was Sour Patch Kids.
Nope.
Did 7-year-olds
That's
make
plastic.
this list? That's
I'm
what
sorry,
I wanted to know.
It might have been 7-year-olds and 57-year-olds because
Oh.
I love me some Sour Patch Kids.
But is Sour Patch Kids a snack?
Thanks. Oh,
It's
a whole bag of them is. I'll tell you that much. Jonathan,
so that's a snack.
Jonathan Layton hooked me up on Sour
But see,
Patch
I
Kids.
put that as candy, not a snack.
No, it is.
Yeah. If I go in the kitchen and I'm hungry, I don't think. Now, if I got a sweet tooth, Sour Patch Kids is a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good road trip snack.
And there's some
rubber.
There's some expansions of Sour Patch Kids because just the regular kids, they're really really sweet. But like these watermelon things or
those are
whatever,
good.
those are
And they have
number
some
one right
strawberry
there.
ones that are really good.
Yep. Okay.
The Cheez-It came in at number 17. How can you have your own restaurant and come in at 17 on this list?
well, the restaurant's an experiment.
It is true. Then there was Hostess Cupcakes, which
I don't know anybody who eats those. I
I'm
mean,
not a big Hostess Cupcake
not saying
fan.
they're
they went out of business, right? And
Yeah.
then somebody
Somebody
bought
bought
them
'em
and started producing them again.
I
right?
was never a big fan of the Hostess Cupcakes.
I mean, to be
so-
on this list, you have to be seen in public eating this.
But that is
I
ahead.
don't-
Now those 2 cupcakes with that delightful.
Maybe the
Feeling.
people who eat them are so ashamed they eat them in the dark somewhere.
But that came ahead of Snickers. There's no way.
let's just say-
it's not better. I haven't heard one.
Let's say I may or may not in the last 3 months have grabbed one of those at the Walmart checkout and eaten it on the way home.
The only
So I think
two,
that darkness comment's right on there.
Do you have tinted windows?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and then threw the wrapper away before Millie saw.
It was about
He
9.
comes on, he's got some of that white cream on his lip.
Oh, yeah.
Busted.
Yeah.
It's that little circular thing
Yeah.
that it does down the.
She's like, "Did you have a Hostess Cupcake on the way home?" No. Why?
Why would you say that?
I did not have a Hostess Cupcake.
What's a Hostess cupcake?
So the only 2 so far that there's nothing that should go ahead of Snickers that I've read yet. Ritz crackers is up there, but
I would
everything
agree
else.
with you. I mean,
Number 15 is Ruffles potato chips,
good,
but I don't know.
not great.
Not my favorite Ruffles. 14 is the Kit Kat. What's y'all's thoughts on Kit Kat? Are y'all a big Kit Kat fan?
No.
I'm pro Kit Kats.
I like a Kit Kat. It's not my go-to, but if
You
it's
found out
there.
that I'm not anti anything.
So far, Tim's been checking off this list like, oh, yeah.
Like,
Except
oh,
kind of
yeah.
like a rice.
Feed me.
Except for peanuts. He's like, does that have protein in it? I don't want it.
Is there any chocolate on them peanuts?
I like the peanuts wrapped in M&M, but that's it. Then Doritos, which to me, chips should all be in one category. I don't know.
And they only deserve
Doritos are very different from Ruffles.
Yeah, very
Very different from Pringles.
Yeah.
And I was going to say about Pringles, that's kind of like eating razor blades. Have you ever just like lacerated your entire mouth eating Pringles? They're shaped. They're not
Try to
shaped.
stick the whole thing in your
They're
mouth.
not ergonomically correct.
No, but you do
Your mouth
reverse
doesn't
them and make duckbill out of them.
Well,
I've
you
done
can
a
do
few
that
times,
for
yeah.
sure.
And there's something just beautiful about the neatness of them all stacked. in
Stacked.
that cylinder.
Number 12 is the Chips Ahoy. And it was the original Chips Ahoy cookie.
I mean, in
know,
a pinch, but
Yeah.
It still shouldn't be above Snickers. I will go to
Yeah.
Snickers before any of these.
And
so
I
far.
believe I might put Chewy Chips Ahoy on above the original because the Chewy.
I agree with
I
that.
would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that.
The original's kind of stale.
And little crumbly.
Yep.
I would put your wife Julie's chocolate chip cookies
That's top of the
before
list.
anything on this list. So
Now,
the
if
next,
you took those originals and crumbled them up in some ice cream,
Hello.
now it belongs on that list.
oh,
All right.
now you're talking.
We'll fix that list.
Lay's number 11, Lay's potato
Too much
chips.
chip content.
Yeah, I
no,
would agree with
Lay's
that.
is
Although-
just
Potato chips are potato chips.
Lay's is your vanilla of the potato chip world.
It is. Number 10, Cheetos. Guys,
Come on.
I do not like Cheetos. I do not want Trump dust on me when I get done eating. That orange dust that coats you after eating Cheetos.
If we buy one of those assorted packs of chips, there's always the Cheetos left.
left?
I'll go into the pantry
Wow.
and it'll just be 5 bags of Cheetos.
and
in there.
nobody
the
likes
kids don't
them.
like them.
No.
So in just a slight diversion, how do y'all feel about that 5-gallon drum of those cheese balls?
Again,
Not good.
look, I don't want to eat a food that turns me orange.
It's not food.
It's just
It's in the
good
Sour
enough for the
Patch.
President 45, it's good enough for me.
guys, those things are just gross. Maybe that is not his skin coloring. He just really likes Cheetos. Let's see here. Number 9, Oreos. Good cookie. Still not ahead of Snickers.
It's a classic.
Okay.
I mean, I certainly would rank it ahead of the original Chips Ahoy.
So number 8, Fritos. Now this is the chip that you use in like chili or soup. And Frito, if you're dipping it in something, excellent snack. Have you ever just sat down and ate a bag of Fritos by themselves though? I just don't think
Not
that's a
proud
good
of it,
snack.
but I've done it.
Yeah, only if there was nothing to dip it in, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, and this is when I knew the list was bad. Number 7, trail mix.
Oh,
Just regular old
throw the list
trail
away.
mix.
With raisins in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
If any raisin
just-
product in the top 25, it's good. Bad list.
I agree wholeheartedly with what
Yes.
you just said. If raisins were kicked out of trail mix would be a beautiful thing.
I know. What's the deal with the oatmeal cookie always having a raisin?
No, I like
I-
the oatmeal
oatmeal-
raisin cookie.
What?
I'm a big fan of the
I
oatmeal
like the
raisin.
But how?
Oatmeal raisin cookie, hold the raisins.
Right. Applied Tim's logic to trail mix to oatmeal cookies.
Now,
Oatmeal raisin cookie good. Take the raisins out. It's even better.
yeah.
Hold the dead grapes.
Now, if they came out with something called Couch Mix, which was like M&M's, Starburst, maybe Sour Patch Kids, a Snickers bar, that I would eat. Couch Mix, yes.
Is
Trail
that
mix,
what you
no.
find in the crevices of your couch?
No,
You-
that's
you
what
lay
would be
on the couch and eat it.
It's like the perfect potpourri.
You ain't pulling
of
that out of
food,
the
yeah.
back of a backpack.
It's a menagerie of sweet snacks.
It's in a big giant Tupperware bowl.
Number 6 was Tostitos. Again, chips.
Oh, come on.
No,
Toast-
Okay.
no. That,
I mean,
that's
all that is
you have to have
that is-
salsa
that's
or
a
guacamole
that's
or
a
something.
host for cheese dip.
Now-
That's not a snack.
That is-
standalone.
Now,
That's not
I'm
a
just telling you,
freestanding snack.
unacceptable.
Prepare for disappointment.
What number was that?
That was 6.
That is ridiculous.
Top 10 Tostitos?
Be prepared for the most disappointing top
And look,
5 list you've ever
I know
read.
that we're taking too long, but I can't
No.
even tell the difference between a Tostito and a Mission and a
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you know, corn, white flour tortilla chip, whatever it's
all-
made out
they're
of, white
all-
corn tortilla chip
They're all
is a
chips.
white, you know,
You dip them in something, they're great.
interchangeable.
you get something a little better at a Mexican restaurant just because they've been freshly made.
Yeah.
Some Mexican
yeah.
restaurants.
Some
At the
Mexican.
ones that do that. Yeah.
All right, guys, the top 5. There's only one in the top 5 that belong anywhere on the list, and I think it would be top 10. Number 5, every kid's favorite snack, goldfish.
Oh, come on.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Number 4,
I mean, that's a.
it's a
Who
snack.
made this? A 2-year-old?
Who sponsored this list?
I don't know. I didn't see a sponsorship.
Goldfish Incorporated.
But tastytable.com, I recommend everyone go on their website and say something derogatory about their
Okay,
list.
this is tastytable.com.
Almond Joy is number 4.
That's the candy bar nobody eats.
Exactly.
Almond Joy,
I have never seen an Almond Joy being consumed.
Almond Depression.
Almond
Yeah,
Joy's
there's
got-
There's
no
nothing
joy in it.
joyous about
So
that.
that's the one
No.
with the nuts, right?
It's-
Because it's
Is it
almond
got
joy.
coconut in
And
it?
do you know
It does have coconut in it.
if
Everybody
I-
hates coconut. Nobody likes coconut.
Almond Joys are gross. And if I'm having a candy bar with nuts in it, Snickers. I'm
Snickers.
going back to Snickers.
Hey,
right.
Coconut is the raisin of nuts. Right?
Coconut is
it
gross.
is-
I can agree with that.
It's officially a nut, right? It's a cocoa
believe so.
nut.
An
right?
oversized
So-
nut.
Yeah, but you're right. It's
With
the,
hair on
It's
it.
the raisin of coconut.
Nobody wants a
I mean,
coconut.
of nuts.
I just
Yeah,
can't-
yep.
That's
Guys,
just filler from the Great Depression.
That was number 4.
Somebody's like, I can't afford sugar, but I got this hairy
What's coming up next?
thing I
Orange-
pulled out of a palm
Here
tree.
come orange slices next.
Right. Hey, I'm bracing myself.
We'll tell them it's a dessert. They'll love it. All right. Number 3, Chex Mix. Again, this is trail mix. How?
What?
It's like saying trail mix and trail mix twice.
It is.
Chex Mix, garbage. You know what? You know who brings Chex Mix to family things?
Grandma.
The old aunt that no one likes and that hates people and doesn't want to be there, so she brings Chex Mix to make the
It's
children
getting
miserable.
a little autobiographical.
Sorry. No, I never had an aunt like that.
And it has like those flat things in it, you know. So it's sometimes it's
What
like
are those?
pretzels. What are those little flat? I mean, I
They-
feel like they're
they-
like
They taste like dried sawdust.
petrified leaves, or I mean, I don't know what they are.
It's gross.
What is it? Are you going to have a Brazil nut on here next?
Number 3.
Number 3 is awful. Number
is
2,
terrible.
now number 2 needs to be here. It's
Okay.
great. I don't know if it needs to be number 2, but it's top
I can't
5.
guess.
Reese's Cups.
Oh
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely
yes.
one of the best.
Yeah, talk
But
to
how
me.
do you
Genius.
even have it surrounded by Chex Mix, Almond Joys, and then number 1, the kettle chip? Kettle chips?
Kettle chips?
What?
Is that a brand?
Well,
No,
yes, but
I mean-
also it's a style of.
Yeah, it's just
It's like a homemade potato chip.
Well, it just said
You know,
kettle
at
chips.
Bucky's, when you get the chips at the deli at
Yeah.
Bucky's,
Yeah, they're the
that's what those
homemade.
are.
Yeah.
and those are good, but they
Well,
don't belong.
They
at
don't
the top
belong
of
on
this
a
list.
look.
It's not a
go to
common
the-
snack.
If I'm watching a football game and need a snack, I'm not grabbing a kettle chip. I
Okay, so
guarantee
where's
you
the
that.
peanut M&Ms?
exactly
The peanut butter M&Ms?
Yep. Where are
Hershey
any of the
Kisses?
other good?
Hershey Kisses. Wow,
That's going to be in the couch
That's a
mix.
severe omission.
That's in the couch mix. Yeah. I had a couple of those in there. Now you got to take the tinfoil off, or else you get digestive problems.
If you'll stay tuned to Passages, the podcast, you'll eventually in the next couple of episodes get our recipe for couch mix.
I think we need to come up with that.
Ooh, trademark it.
Oh yeah, I think we should
Couch
do
mix.
that. Couch mix.
Yes. Let's
I like
get I like this idea.
I'll make a note so we can get.
We're
on
going to
that.
do a couch mix.
All right, guys. I'm
We'll
sorry I took
experiment
so
all
much
summer.
time.
We got
But
the whole
that
summer to
list-
experiment with
Yes,
this.
that
That's
list
great.
really, and it's a good excuse to
I like it.
hang out, watch a movie, and do some R&D on couch
Yes,
mix.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So we're staying with a little bit of a list theme this evening, and the lovely Millie Layton and I are going to go to a concert next week. Haven't been to a concert in a little while, a few months anyway, and I know we all like to go to concerts. I don't believe the three of us have ever gone to a concert together.
No.
We have some different musical taste. I think this
Well,
segment will, there's some
Not gonna come
there's
between
some,
us.
There's a Venn diagram, right? There's some
Yeah.
intersection, and then there's
Classic rock.
Yeah, and so Millie and I are going to see Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind and Fire.
All right.
So
They're still alive?
They are
No, I'm
still
just sorry. I had
alive.
to say that.
Just
I knew
in
that.
time.
So I saw Lionel in, I think, 1983 or 84. I was a junior or senior in high school.
I was 5.
And and so went to see him. That was really at the height of his popularity. He was about it was a huge concert. And
That was the We Are the World year, 84.
That's right. So he like swept the American Music Awards.
Yeah.
He was the hottest thing around. And Tina Turner opened up for him, and Tina was like, it was like the post Ike era.
Right.
You know, and she was making her comeback, and then she, you know, sort of exploded again, and, you know, as a single act, and had her, you know, fame in that time period. So it's been, you know, 40 years since I've seen Lionel. And so the reviews that I've read have been very good about this. Now, I think when it comes to Earth, Wind, and Fire, there's some replacements from the originals.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's going to be the horns. There's going to be Do You Remember the 21st of September, you know. And so it's going to be, it'll be fun. Yeah. But the reason we did this is we looked at that, and it was like, man, that'd be fun to go to. And then we did what most of us do these days and clicked on Ticketmaster, and it was like, they want how much for us to go?
Yeah.
And so then about 2 weeks before the concert, they put some upper level tickets up for $25 a piece. And so it's like, let's do it.
Good, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not the best seats in the world, but it's not $100 a ticket or whatever, you know. And so, so that brought to mind just concerts in general. I think back fondly on concerts that I've gone to. You know, it's like you remember, you know, different things about concerts, who you were with, and you know, just different things about the performance. And I like to think about, like, what's the best concert I've ever been to. And so what I wanted to do here tonight, and full disclosure, I sort of, normally we don't share what we're going to talk about, but I told Drew and Jason to be thinking about concerts that they enjoyed that they've gone to, so that we can sort of do, you know, don't hold us to this, but we're going to do top 5 concerts that we've ever been to.
Top 5 per person.
Right. So this is Rock News. Top 5 concerts ever attended.
Does it have to be in order of 1 through 5?
Really.
Just the top 5?
Let's don't stress ourselves
I
too much
gotta write
here.
down most of them.
All right. So I'll start to give you all some time. So starting at number 5, I'm going to place. I think I'm going to go Alan Jackson and Martina McBride, number 5. You know, country concert here.
And I think if you give us a rough idea of when, that makes a difference.
I want to say that it was probably, I'm going to guess 2005 maybe.
Yeah.
And so both of them big country stars at that time.
Yeah.
And Martina McBride, there really wasn't a headliner, and I've got another one that's going to sort of fit into that. Martina McBride opened, but she wasn't an opening act, right? It was like 2 headliners basically. And so, you know, she came out, just, you know, blew the place away. And then he comes out in a very simple concert. You know, Alan Jackson's not going to dance all over the stage or whatever. He's basically going to step up, perform flawlessly, and then say, thank you very much. And then he'll go into his next, you know, and they had the screens and everything. It was really cool. But his singing and his performance of just hit after hit was phenomenal. So I'm going to go number 5, Alan Jackson, Martina McBride. Jason, you're up.
In no order, because
and we're doing one at a time.
They're all very different. So I'm going to go with my first major concert I ever got to go to. And it may be my favorite just because of nostalgia.
Sure.
So in 97, I got to see Aerosmith live in Nashville at their outdoor amphitheater. So first of all, I was in college, first year in college, hanging out with friends, first major concert. Not their best album. It was their 9 Lives tour.
I was trying to think of the album.
It was a 9
97.
Lives tour. It had a couple of good songs on it.
I dropped out on Aerosmith by 97.
Yeah, but they what was cool is they came out on stage, and the first thing he yelled was, "Do you want us to play the old stuff or the new stuff?" And of course, the crowd yells for the old stuff. And it basically became a greatest hits album. And they didn't look like 75-year-old grandmothers at that point. They were still, I mean, he still had his vocal range.
They had a lot of hits in the 90s.
I just remember it being just a really cool experience. I don't know. It was like my first big thing out on my own.
My cousin Doug and I went to see Aerosmith here in Birmingham, and I've never seen so much black leather in all of my life, because opening up for Aerosmith was Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Oh, no.
And so it was awesome. I mean, it was.
Now, was
it
this
was
80s
good.
or 90s?
It was 90s. I think maybe a little earlier than Jason there, but it was a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, for me, I'll put this. I'm like Jason. I haven't ranked them.
Yeah.
I would say Del McCoury and his boys.
Okay.
I don't know if he called them his sons or his boys, but Del McCoury is a bluegrass legend. I don't know if you've heard of him before. Got that high nasally voice, and he's a fantastic performer. And his sons are his band, and they are technically proficient, very highly skilled musicians. And my brother Mackenzie and I went to see him and just had a blast at Iron City here in Birmingham. 2018, around that time.
So you got to see him in a pretty small venue, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no chairs. You just stand up in general admission, and we were real close to the stage. And I'm going to go see them again this summer at the Ryman Auditorium in
that's
Nashville.
Oh, that's a great
So it's going to be a
venue.
lot of fun.
yeah, that's great. All right, I'm going to take number 4. This one makes my list just because of sort of I'll call it the thud factor. It's just the number of acts. So there was a concert here in Birmingham after the tornadoes that went through Tuscaloosa and did so much damage in 2011. 2011? 2007?
Yeah, it was 2011.
2011. And so it was called Bama Rising. Mm-hmm. And so so I had to go back and do a little research to see. This is not all the acts that were there, but the Blind Boys of Alabama were there, the Commodores, Alabama, Sheryl Crow, Little Big Town, Montgomery Gentry, Martina McBride, Brad Paisley, Darius Rucker. I mean, it was a, that one, just because of like, where else are you going to get to see, music festivals, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I haven't gone to a lot of music festivals. That was probably the most star power of anything that I'd ever been to. It was a really good concert, really cool. Mm-hmm. So everybody would do a set of maybe 4 or 5 songs so that you're not there for 2 weeks. But probably the only other thing that, and it just didn't have that kind of star quality, was CD Stages. When Birmingham had CD Stages, really cool. Just that you performed at CD Stages.
I was
didn't
hoping
you?
that had been
did.
forgotten.
But
yes, I played City Stages.
yeah, and so
Were you wearing an earth?
I was wearing a
globe on your head?
gigantic
remember that?
orb on my head.
clearly, I gave you a chance not to have to go into exactly what you were wearing.
Well, Jason
I was
brought
going to
that
fire
up.
there. Yeah, I wasn't letting that go.
Ron and Mindy Hill were there.
Oh,
They
man.
saw it, and it was not good.
But CD Stages was cool, and just like the end of every street, there was another stage, another act.
I wish we had kept it alive. I realize it was losing money every year.
But it was fun. I mean, I didn't go to a lot of them, but the ones I went to, I really enjoyed. So Bama Rising is my number 4.
All right, so I'm not going in any specific order, but probably one of the coolest concerts I've seen, and I don't know if it was musically one of the best. It was up there, but the guy got on stage and played for 3 straight hours. So Cassie and I had gone to Las Vegas for a conference, and at the time, Elton John had a residence at Caesar's Palace. So we went to see Elton John perform live at Caesar's Palace, and the man walked out on stage. This is probably like 2016, 2015, something like that. He walked out on stage, sat down to the piano, started playing, and 3 hours later, he rapped. Like the band took a break, he'd be out there by himself. I don't know how the man did it because he's not young, but his vocals were still good. It was just the environment in the theater at Caesar's Palace is really, really a cool theater. The sound was good. And just the fact that the guy, you don't go to many concerts these days where the act plays for about 3 hours. And I remember we went into the show late and got out of there at midnight or a little after midnight. It was just a good show.
Yeah. My next one goes to about 2006, 2005, 2006. Wilco at the Alabama Theater. My brother Barton was the youth minister here at the time, and he called in a radio show and got 2 free tickets. So after Sunday evening services, we went to the Alabama Theater, and it was a amazing show. And another thing that was really cool about it was that night they won a Grammy for, I think it was Best Alternative Album, but they were in Birmingham instead of being at the Grammys. And so they went off stage for a break or something. We didn't really know why they left. It was too early for the encore. And they come out a little bit later and say, "Hey, everybody, we just won a Grammy." You know, and that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That was a great concert.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's like a special, I think one thing that qualifies to me a great concert is something really cool that occurs at the concert.
Yeah.
One of my dreams has always been to be at a concert when another famous singer comes out. And
I got one of those.
Okay. So,
it's on my list.
That's what, for instance, when George Michael redid Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, right? And so he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elton John." And then here comes Elton John out.
Yeah.
And the place, and it's like, that's what I want. I want to go to a concert someday with a surprise guest or whatever. Who was your surprise guest?
Well,
is it on the list?
My number
okay.
one.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, we will save that.
I shouldn't have said anything.
It's a tease. All right. So, So it's back to me, right? Number 3. Since Jason mentioned Elton John, I can't do this list without Elton John being on it. I think I saw him 4 times, I believe. And the last being on his final tour, I saw him in Atlanta. And that one got me a little more emotional than it should have, because it's like, this is the last time I'm ever going to hear this guy sing. And he was sort of, my cousin hooked me into listening to Elton John 1972. I'm 5 or 6 years old, and we're listening to, something off of Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player.
Yeah.
Daniel, and, I listened to that, back then I listened to all those cuts off that album, so I know obscure songs off of there. And I mean, so it's like, it's like, this guy's really, he's done, right? He's wrapping this up. Mm-hmm. And you start hearing him sing, and then it's like they take intermission, and it's like, these are the last songs that I'm ever going to hear this guy sing in person or whatever, It's like, it's pretty wild. So but the concert that makes my list is the concert that he did with Billy Joel.
I remember the tour being advertised.
Saw it in the Georgia Dome, and so it was the 2 of them, right? 2 really big headline acts. And so they would, Elton would come out and do a set, then Billy Joel would come out and do a set. Again, maybe 3 or 4 songs. Then they would do a couple of songs together, and it was that kind of transition. So it really was a concert of both of them. And so they each had like a piano on each side. It was awesome. And so that one is my number 3.
A lot of people went to that all over the nation, because that would have been early 90s.
Probably so, yeah.
I think I was still in Texas when that was coming through, and I remember people talking about going to that concert.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So next on my list was one I went to within the last year, and it's They were missing one of their original members at this point, but it was the Eagles when they came back through. So
wow.
I grew up listening to the Eagles.
Jason, it's just Eagles.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always get that wrong. Sorry, Don Henley.
You went to see Eagles.
I went to see Eagles perform, and Vince Gill filled in. And, that's the music I grew up on. And it was just really cool. And they played all their hits. And their staging was really cool. Like to start the show, a guy walks out and he there's a record player and he puts the album on and he puts the needle down and it starts and you hear the record scratch. And then they played the entire album. It was the Hell Freezes Over album. And they played it straight through, just like it was on the album without saying a word.
Ah, that's
just
cool.
Song ended. And then after that, they spoke for a minute, introduced the band, and then they got into playing all the hits that they hadn't played on that album. And it was just musically, it was good. Performance-wise, it was just all of them standing up there singing and playing, but it was still a great show. Like the show was just really cool. So that was probably one of the ones that gave me the most like feel good during a concert. Like, man, this is the music I grew up on.
Yeah. So my number 3, Ryan Adams, again at the Alabama Theater. The second time I saw him. So the first time I saw him, he was a complete mess. He was a big baby. People were shouting requests. People are rude at concerts. And if you're a professional, you shake it off and you... But after about 45 minutes, he got tired of people shouting requests and he just got up and walked off stage. This is the first time. For some reason, I spent money. His tickets weren't that high. I spent money to go back and watch him again. And
So when he walked off, was the concert
that was
over?
it. No encore. He was done. And I went back because I love most of his music. And he gave a great 2-hour show. It was fantastic. He harkens back to 70s with heavy guitars, just basic rock and roll with kind of a country twang to it sometimes. Some of his stuff sounds like Eagles. So he has several different phases. This year he came out in January with 4 albums on the same day. So he's very prolific too. Huge catalog, but I enjoyed seeing him. That's my number 3.
All right. My number 2, I always mention that this is one of the best concerts I've ever gone to, and so I have to put it on the list. So went to Nashville with my cousin Doug, who is a passenger. I'm glad to,
hello,
glad
Doug.
to share. Hey, Doug. And so we went to see John Mellencamp, and the guy just rocked. I mean, he was incredible. Another guy who just, you look at his catalog and it's just hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
And so he can just tear it up all night and it's all stuff and it was a great concert. So, John, whatever he was
Wait,
at
yeah,
that
I was going to
point,
ask, who was he at that time?
He might have been, I think he was John Mellencamp. I think he had already been, so he was John Cougar. The 8-track that I had was a John Cougar that had like Hurt So Good or whatever. And I think that was the first one. Mm-hmm. And then John Cougar Mellencamp and then John Mellencamp, I think. So, all right.
So for me, it would have to be the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh wait, no, Andrew Kingsley bought bogus tickets, and we didn't get to go see him.
Story.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope Andrew's listening to this.
You paid for a Red Hot Chili Peppers
we paid
concert.
we learned that you don't buy tickets to concerts off of Craigslist. And I tell you, it was you could hear the opening act in their playing. We got to the door, and she just laughed at us. So let me go to my real one. I don't know which one to do because they're both same genre, same kind of energy.
Tell us who gets honorable mention, and then
Okay, so the 2 I'm trying to decide behind are both country acts, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn.
Okay.
For different reasons. Garth Brooks was the most high energy concert I've ever been to. Insane high energy. But I really think it's probably the one I would stick with is the Brooks and Dunn show because
That's
I
the one
grew
you
up
enjoyed more.
I grew up with them and they had stopped touring and I thought, oh, I'll never get to see them play. And then they had we're broke, we're going to do another tour. and they came through town, and they were great. They sounded really good, and again, just music I grew up on, and kind of got that country genre in there.
Little red dirt road, absolutely.
My number 2 is easy because it was something that we didn't think was going to happen, and it was the Pixies in the early 2000s at Boutwell. So the Pixies had broken up. They'd been broken up for a long time, and I think a couple of the band members were impoverished, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. So they had two that had solo acts that were pretty successful in the indie world, and they got back together, and this was kind of the reunion tour. Now they're doing something now, but they don't have all 4 original members now. This was a short window of time where they had Kim Deal, the original bass player, with them, and I went with my brother Mackenzie and Joel Henry, and my brother Ashley and his wife were there somewhere, but we had 3rd row seats, and we were just like right there. And what we didn't realize is nobody cared there were folding chairs, and nobody cared what your ticket said. Because when the concert started, all these kids just rushed the stage that had bought seats way in the back. But still, it was a great concert. Very loud.
Yeah.
Lots of screaming. Really cool.
And very closed in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my number 2.
And the Boutwell's pretty small venue, right? I mean, it's
no BJCC,
yeah,
or an arena.
It's a few thousand, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even, that's the only time I've ever been in Boutwell.
Yeah.
Boutwell's where you drop off the water when a natural disaster occurs,
right.
or it's a warming station in the wintertime.
Yeah. It's a
So
smaller,
it's pretty rough.
smaller facility.
Used to be where Southeastern Championship Wrestling would be here on Monday.
That's about as adventurous as I've ever gotten, is going to a Pixies concert in Boutwell Auditorium.
That's cool. All right. My number 1, it's been mentioned already. It's Eagles.
All right.
So
Same tour?
did we go to that one together? It's not the same tour that you mentioned. Did you see them twice?
But
in
it was
Birmingham?
I've only
Vince Gill?
seen them once.
You've only seen them once.
I saw them with
Okay.
Vince Gill
All right.
the last time
It's
they came
post
through.
Glenn Fry.
Yes.
You've seen them twice in Birmingham, though, hadn't you?
No.
No, just one.
Just once. So this was before the one I think that you went to see, and so I don't think this was Vince Gill. I don't think that
Who was there between Fry and Gill?
it would have had to have been Glenn Fry, right? I mean, so
That's pretty cool if you saw Glenn Fry.
I don't know. I have to ask Millie.
Do you want to
but-
call her right now, or
But their concert was.
where's my Jeopardy button?
But their concert, I mean, it was just so well done. And, I sort of lived through that time where they were broken up, right? So, 70s, listen to all this good music that they're putting out. And then, they went their separate ways, right? And, really assuming never to come back together again. And so
It was big news when they got back
it
together.
was. And I'm not sure that they probably didn't sound the best ever when they came back together.
Well, they
But
were
for
all
one
clean.
thing, they were all clean, and they weren't, a lot during the 70s. And so, but just so musically talented, Joe Walsh on the guitar, just doing crazy stuff.
Amazing.
And, it was awesome. I loved it. So that was my number 1.
That's good, number 1.
All right, and my final one is the last concert I went to, and it's out there. Both I'm going to mention both the headliner and the opening act, or I guess the main opening act. They had 2. The first guy was horrible, but Hank Williams Jr. and Whiskey Myers. I went into this concert mostly because I really like Whiskey Myers and I wanted to hear them. They put on a spectacular. They're kind of a rock, country, just good, hard music. Played a great show. Absolutely wonderful. Loudest concert.
They were the openers?
They opened for Hank.
Opened for Hank.
And then Hank comes out, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's mid-70s, I think, has had some rough life. And I'm thinking, is this going to be a good show? How is it going to... It was spectacular. He played all his hits. He got out on stage with an acoustic by himself for a while and just played like a medley of some of his hits. Very entertaining, rude, kind of crass. It was everything you would expect from a Hank Williams. He came out on stage with a hat that said Icon, and his guitar strap said Icon. And I don't know, but it was, growing up listening to his music, it was just cool to get to see one of the, I guess you'd call the outlaws that still, there's not many of them. There's Willie and him pretty much, and Chris Christopherson. Those three of the original outlaws that are still living. And it was cool getting to listen to them play.
Yeah.
So he could still sing, right?
He did great.
He never could. Sing
well, it's more of a yell, scream.
Yeah, Willie's is more like spoken word now,
but
right?
it was,
it's like,
hey, that may have been one of the loudest concerts I've been to.
Really?
And I don't know if it was where our seats were.
Where was it, BJCC?
At BJCC. And they were blowing the top off that place that night. And it was just, I went with the boys. It was just a guy's
trip. And then the
trip.
very next night, you went to Making Music at Freed Hardeman.
Making music at Freed Hardeman. Sat right in front of the speakers. I had a lot of
ringing after a while.
It's probably why I don't hear very well.
What?
Huh?
All right, Drew, number one, wrap us up.
All right, my number one is Bob Dylan in Jackson, Tennessee.
That's cool.
Bob Dylan, huge. He's in my top 3 musicians, songwriters, everything. I love him.
What was the venue in Jackson?
Well, I was afraid you were going to ask me that. I can't remember. It was like 1995, 94, 95 in there.
Like a high school gym or something? Or,
No, they have
a
like
civic center? Or
they have some kind of auditorium. Okay. It was small, but wasn't like anything
which to
we
me
have
makes
here.
it better.
Yeah, it did. It did make it better. The tickets weren't that much. I went with Joel Henry again. He was living up there, and his wife, and it was just great to hear him. And Bob Dylan doesn't do any song the same way twice. So whatever you heard on the records, you had a different version of it on stage. But Jackson, Tennessee was at that time the hometown of Carl Perkins. So near the end, Carl Perkins came out and did Blue Suede Shoes.
Oh, wow.
And a couple other numbers
that's cool.
with Bob Dylan. So I saw 2 legends right there.
That's awesome.
That's really
It was
cool.
really cool.
That's great. All right, good list. All right, so, one thing that's exciting about what's happening in the concert world here in Birmingham is they're starting to build a new amphitheater, downtown, which I think is going to be
excited about
in that Caraway area. So that's going to be cool, and hopefully it'll, bring some.
One day we need to all
acts.
3 actually go to a concert together.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've been to
never done
one
it
with
before.
Drew. He may not remember it because we slept through most of it. It was Nora Jones at
remember.
Oak Mountain Amphitheater.
Did we
It
not,
was a snoozer.
did we not go to the Dixie Chicks together?
We did.
Oh, I don't know if I would have told that.
Well, it was pre-political statement.
I was
Dixie
sitting here
Chicks.
trying to
One
write
of the
down.
Dixies is
and
dead. One of the Dixies died.
Really?
It's just the Chicks,
The
guys.
Chicks. One of the Chicks died.
I forgot about that
But
concert.
it was
I
an
did.
excellent concert. They were really good singers and musicians, and then they just blew themselves up. All right, Drew,
All right. This one probably needs to be a little shorter because
because we've gone
we've
for a
almost
while.
used up our hour.
Hey,
But that's okay.
I listened to a podcast last week that was 2.5 hours long.
Well,
we're having
you might participate in one that's
Just put some extra tape in. Let's keep going.
Yeah, we got it. We got
We'll
it.
pause and change the tape out.
I've seen a lot of articles, especially at the 1st of April, about school absenteeism being on the rise, and our kids are just getting out of school. I don't know when school ended. My son came home last Friday saying, "That's it for school."
Yep.
Monday morning, I get a call. Your son, Jackson Kaiser, has an unexcused absence for first period. And I thought we were done with school. And then I get that same call on Tuesday.
Yep.
Didn't get it this morning, so I guess we're really done with school. I asked my kid, what's the deal? You said school was out. Well, the teachers told us not to come. Have y'all
back.
heard that?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Teachers told us
doubt.
not to come.
Now, we're not going to be doing anything fun the rest of the week. You'll just have to sit in here and help me clean. Why don't y'all just stay home?
Just stay home
Absolutely.
and get an unexcused absence.
Except I think that unexcused absence either they forgot to turn that system off, or that's a middle school thing, because we didn't get those. I don't think we got those calls from the high school.
Right,
And
y'all's boys are in
And I'm
high
not
school.
sure Taylor's been at school since March.
Well, that's
Well,
true.
yeah, we start talking seniors and their behaviors.
They're,
We were at dinner tonight.
I don't
know what
even
they
know
do.
why we do a senior year.
We were at dinner tonight.
They're
and
done
Jonathan's
by
like,
senior year.
when I'm a senior, I'm only going, because they've just all, been bowing down to Taylor all
Oh,
year
yeah.
for him showing
English
up.
and PE.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the only classes he had
Well,
this
and
year.
if they didn't have, if Jonathan
Well,
didn't
he
have
also had
band
football.
and Taylor
And
didn't have
football.
football,
Yeah.
what if a
Hey.
kid's not involved in extracurriculars?
And let me
they don't
tell
have
you,
anything to do.
he was proud of making A honor roll this year, straight A's in PE
And
and
English.
English.
There you go.
Well, listen to these
Hey,
numbers.
all you can do is make A's in what you got.
That's true.
This article says chronic absenteeism has become a pressing challenge for the nation's schools. The stories are ubiquitous. In Alaska, 43% of students were chronically absent in 22-23 school year. In Oregon, the figure was 38%. In Nevada, 35%. And there's little evidence things are getting better. Nationally, the share of students who are chronically absent nearly doubled between, now here's the key to this whole thing, between 2018 and 2022. So what happened between those years?
Pandemic.
From 15% to 28%. That's nationally. So in other words, nearly 3 in 10 students missed 4 weeks or more of school. That's a month. 3 in 10 missed a month of school. That's a very different situation. When I was coming up, if you missed that much school, you didn't pass.
Guys, I
didn't
remember
pass.
like going to school. They're like cramming Tylenol down your throat. Like, we'll get this fever down. You can't miss school today.
Right. Now, I've thought about, what is this? It's obviously the impact the pandemic, not the pandemic, but the shutdowns
Well,
had and the shift over to online.
I was going to say, there
Google
we go.
Classroom and other platforms like that, where, people got used to doing their work from home and they think they can still do it. And the schools kind of like that system too, and they let things go.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think it's good for our kids.
No, they don't learn. Look, my son, and I love him to death, but he's taken multiple classes. Both of them have now taken multiple classes online. Guys,
It's not the
just
same.
It's just to push through it, answer the questions, get an 80 so you don't have to take it again.
It's not the kind of care and individual one-on-one kind of instruction that you get in a classroom. It's
Well-
impersonal. The teachers can't really evaluate if the kids are getting it or not, or if they're even doing the work. There's a propensity to cheat, to look things up that you could do, that you should be doing on your own.
And the school it's not like they're ignoring it because they're serving. I mean, school systems are serving warrants. I know someone that had to go before a judge, and I've talked to
For
other
truancy?
people. Yeah,
But
but
they're not doing that much.
you can't enforce it. I don't guess. I don't know.
Well, it's a law.
And the kids, never mind. We won't get
Okay,
political
yeah.
tonight. But
Right.
but it's one of those things where it's almost like the kids are encouraged not to be at school. Like
This week,
the
teacher saying,
how
don't
is the-
come in.
But I
I
still
remember
think
studying up and doing classes up till you took your final exam.
Right. I mean, there was a clear last day of school.
Yeah.
And you went, and maybe you didn't do much. Maybe you turned in your textbooks, but
I
you
can
went
remember
to the school till
at
it was
least-
shut down.
At least during finals, if you got done with your exams at noon, you could check out and go home.
Right.
But that was finals week. That wasn't 2 weeks before finals.
and that's
which
like
is-
in high school.
Yeah, that was my junior and senior year in high school.
Right.
Right. And so, and also, I believe, our finals went up to the last day of school.
Oh, yeah.
Why are there 3 days of school after finals?
'Cause they don't want the
May-
kids there.
Maybe there would be one that would be the makeup day for any final you missed. Maybe one day after 3 days after
Well, the law
finals?
says school has to have so many days,
180
So they have
or
these-
181 days.
something like that. And they have these fake days built in.
Weather days.
But then, so schools still get funded based on days present, don't they? I think that was a
They
big deal.
schools
right?
get
I mean,
funded by their attendance, and there's a certain time period where where the state they have to turn in their enrollment, and after that enrollment numbers turned in, that's what funding's set off of. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Well, we had, and I never had him in class. My roommate did, but we had an instructor at Freed Hardeman in the business school, Bobby Bush. He's one of the best teachers at Freed in the 90s, and he had a very strict attendance policy. And I texted my roommate from those days to make sure I had this right. But everybody respected this guy, and they came to class. And some of his rules were: an unexcused absence resulted in the lowering of your grade 1 letter. 1 unexcused absence. And he said there are no excused absences. So you miss 1 class, your A becomes a B, your
You
B
said
becomes
he
a
was
C.
teaching in the business school, though,
Yes,
right?
he's trying to teach
he was
him-
preparing them for business.
Part
for
of the lesson.
being in the working world.
Show
Yep.
up. He had 1 absence, my roommate did, and his A went down to a B. And on days when papers were due, which were several days per semester, he locked the door right at the time class started. So you couldn't turn your paper in. One time, Scotty was in a class when a student was late. He locked him out, and the student slid the paper under the door, and Dr. Bush slid it back under. 0. No credit for the paper.
Boy, I'd have gotten in a lot of trouble in that class.
He said he also kept a stack of index cards with everybody's name on them, and he shuffled them during class and used the one on top to call on people. So random call-outs. And he did a lot of other things. He also was very biblical in his approach. Scotty said he used Moses as an example of delegation, from Deuteronomy 18.
Oh, yeah.
So he had spiritual concepts that he pulled in, but he did not play around with absenteeism. Yeah. Which, in college...
Kids today would be crying abuse.
You skip classes a lot.
Oh. Yeah.
You shouldn't, but it
First thing I
happens a lot.
did was look at the syllabus and see what the attendance policy was.
And plan out your absences.
And let me tell you, there were some of them that were like, as long as you're here to take your tests, we don't care.
Yeah.
I just never go to class. I could go to study, but I wasn't going to go sit in
You
lecture.
get notes from your friends, and these
just
days,
read the
things,
textbook.
so much is online, or you get somebody to record for you.
Textbooks, folks, are these bound.
Right.
They had pages. They had pictures and
They're
words.
made of paper.
y'all were talking about like the online classes, and I may have ranted about this already on one of these podcasts, but math is near and dear to my heart, and that's at Layton University. That's I'm the dean of the College of Math, and Millie's the dean of all other colleges, and so when. We do this Delta Math and IXL and all this stuff. And, it gives them the problems. They've got to figure out what the answer to them is. There's some value there. But I still go back to the fact that, I had a couple of outstanding math teachers in high school that built the foundation for me, to be able to, go into college and, do well in my math classes. And one of the things that they always did is they would send you out to the board. So number one, you better have your homework, and they'd assign you a number. All right, we're going to do odds. You got 1, 3, and 5. Get out there to the board. You put your problem up on the board, and then you would explain what you did. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you copied Joe's number 5 and you can't explain it,
They don't do that anymore?
Ain't getting it. It's
You take a
because
picture of the problem
it's-
with Google Lens and it gives you the answer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There's another app out there too, right? That,
Yeah.
that you basically analyzes.
So now that we need that kind of behavior more, we're not doing it.
Right.
You didn't need it as much back in your day,
right.
but they need the students to demonstrate in class,
At least
or
just
at least
show
have the
up to
threat
class.
that that's possible, and we're not doing it.
And we don't do any math on paper anymore, which completely boggles my mind. How can you do math on a computer.
Tim can't even do this podcast without scratch
I
paper.
can't. I have to have scratch paper. I have to write notes. I have, my hand is.
I think with
connected to my
paper,
brain, right?
it's just
and so
part of the process.
it's because Jonathan will be, we'll be working through a problem, and he'll be trying to do this stuff in his head, and it's like, no, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. That's where the errors come in, right? And so I need you to lay this out, and there'll always be this discussion. Big test coming up. We really need to make a, X on it. All right, promise me you'll work these problems out on paper. I said, let's don't give these points away,
Right.
And,
every point matters.
But it's like, now math has just become another thing that's in a computer in front of them. And to me, it's, hey, I'm all for technology. I work for a technology company. But that's not the way to do instruction. It's just not.
We'll take the lazy route every time, though. So it's just it's a problem. We got to get on top of it. Our kids have got to get a good education because they're going to take over the world here soon.
Go to school.
Yes.
Go to school.
And the schools could help by having some stricter attendance policies.
That instructor that you mentioned made me think about a bonus quote. The best ability is availability, right?
Yeah,
and so
that's a good rule of thumb.
If you're not available, whatever else you got going on, that whole list of abilities, if you're not here, they're not helping us.
Right, just show up. Well, let's take a little break, and then we'll show up on the other side of the break and share our passage finally. Thank you for sticking with us. Tim's got our quote tonight.
All right. This quote comes from, bear with me as I provide this name, Angela Anais Juana Antelina Rosa Eldemira Nin e Coulmel. She was a French-born American diarist, essayist, novelist, and writer of short stories.
She's a diarist.
A diarist.
So we'll just have to take her word for it.
She must have eaten at Raoul's.
Right.
Oh, man.
That's a better joke than what I had. I was going to say we had to take her word for it because you're not supposed to read people's diaries.
There you go. She was born to Cuban parents in France, and she was the daughter of the composer Joaquin Nin and classically trained singer Rosa Coulmel. So both of those names are in her name, along
She's very
with
proud of
8 or 9 other names. Right. That
she's got her grandparents in there.
What grade do you think she was in when she finally learned to spell her name right?
I'm going to say 4th
13th,
or 5th. Yeah,
13th grade.
13th grade. Yeah. All right. So, more importantly, the quote for this week is, "We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are." All right. So, this one we've been sitting on a little bit for a while. We sort of had it in the reserves, and I saw it today, and I think it's a good one on the idea of perspective, right? And this is always something that I think we all want to try to be careful, right? We like the idea of being objective about things, have objectivity. I see things not through rose-colored glasses, but, I look at things clearly, and then we'll, see ourselves getting caught up in, emotions about things. There's a lot of different reasons that objectivity gets called into question, right? Sometimes it's because of us, right? How do I see myself versus how everyone else sees me? Yeah. And so, am I being objective when I look at myself? When it comes to my family, right? So do I see do I see, the actions of my family, the expectations I have, do I see them clearly, or, are they through my lens of subjectivity? through the lens of the love that I have for them and my partiality to them, and so it's very interesting. And, I try to think about this a lot, are you really looking at things clearly? I think it's a very difficult thing.
I think we have to all realize that none of us looks at things truly objectively. Wallace Stevens, the poet, talked about this a lot. He did not believe that anybody could really see the world objectively in the absolute sense. He had a poem called The Snowman, and in that poem, he called the ability to be purely objective is having the mind of winter. And in the poem, he says you've got to be like a snowman, just out in the cold in the winter with no feeling, to really see the world as it truly is. And no one can do that. And so there's no pure objectivity except in God. As a believer, I believe that he sees things as they are, and he is truth. And so I have to, and that's my perspective, that I view, that's the lens through which I view the world, or try to. But that's a lens, that's faith. I've chosen to look at the world through God, because I believe that he does have an objective view. And everybody has something they're looking at the world through.
So the first thing when we decided on this quote that I thought of, and maybe you've seen these, maybe you haven't. You probably have, but have you ever seen the forced perspective street art? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's where people draw on sidewalks
and it looks
streets,
three-dimensional.
And it looks three-dimensional. What's interesting is that drawing, you have to be in one perfect perspective for it to have that three-dimensional depth, where it looks like the road just falls off into a hole. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how that drawing, if you look at it straight down or you look at it from an objective standpoint, not from that perspective, it looks like this just distorted mess. So one person can stand in that perfect perspective and see that drawing in its full 3 dimensions. But you put other people around it at different clock hours, and everybody sees it differently, even though it is the exact same image. The image never changes. Your perspective of the image changed. And that's what I thought about when I read this quote, is that the 3 of us could see one act happen, or we could describe, I don't know, my glasses case sitting here or the Bible sitting here, and we would all 3 be describing the exact same object, but we'd be describing it from where we are, from our point. And because of that, we see it a little bit differently. And I think that's one of the biggest, most important things about Christian fellowship. I think that's why we come together to worship, because we all see God from our perspective. We see it by how we interpret the Bible, but by being in a group of people, we're able to share our perspectives with one another. And that's how we get the whole picture of God. At least that's what I thought about as we went through this discussion.
And to go back to your analogy of the street art, all those people standing around with the different perspectives, here's the question: which one of them has the correct perspective? In that case, the answer could be, well, if you're wanting to see 3-dimensional, it's the guy that can see that.
Yep.
But maybe that's not what is meant to be seen. I mean, who's to say? So you're lost in meaninglessness without God.
That's right.
Because you don't know who has the right perspective.
That's right.
And if a human being stands up like a dictator and says, I have the right perspective, well, who says?
Yeah.
You say that, but maybe I do.
I'm glad you mentioned the thing about the quote dealing with winter and the idea of being out in the cold and really having that
the mind of winter,
right, and that complete objectivity. Because when I was thinking about this today, after we decided to use it, one thing that came to mind is I think about this a lot, and it's something that I've wanted to strive for, is to try to be objective and fair in situations. But do you really want that completely? And I know that, when we compare it like to, God's perspective and the perspective of truth, yes. I mean, we want to be able to judge things fairly, but when you look at it from the perspective of what are the things that influence our perspective, many of them are very good things. They're
Right.
things like the people we love and the people we
Right.
protect, and those things influence our perspective sometimes. But would we give those up for objectivity? Not in a million years.
Yeah, so love is a bias, right?
Right.
Even maybe you could look at the love of God as a bias. Because if God was purely objective, then he'd destroy us all, right? Because that's what we deserve. But he looks at us, and look, we're using, anthropomorphisms for God. He's not a human being, so this has its shortcomings, this analogy. But he has a bias toward us of love. He's going to do the loving thing. Now, he finds a way through Christ to be just and the justifier all at the same time in his amazing way. But still, he doesn't look at us with cold objectivity. We'd be doomed if he did.
Right.
Well, he looks at us as his created. I mean, you think of anything that you have built or spent a lot of time working on, and you can't look at that thing with full objectivity. Now, I think God probably has the ability to do that. God can do anything. And I think, in a way, using Christ as both the Redeemer, but also judging us through Christ, I think that balances out his subjectivity or his love, because he did put the punishment of man on Christ.
And he loves all equally.
Yeah. But I've totally lost my train of thought. This is
It's
embarrassing.
okay.
I think this,
It happens to everybody.
I'm getting old.
I think about somebody who just, has the perspective of, well, I just call them like I see them, right? It's sort of
No,
that,
you don't.
It's that,
Yeah.
right?
I hear people say that,
Right?
and no, you don't.
No, but it brings with it just sort of that cold feel. What we're dealing with here is that we as humans are imperfect, right? And so, we can influence the we part of this, right? We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. We can influence.
That's useful wisdom.
Our perspective, right? And I think that we want some balance of, you ever been around people who think they've never done anything wrong, or their kids never done anything wrong, or
Why are you
anybody?
looking at me,
I'm
Tim?
not looking at you. I'm stretching around my microphone
Okay, I
here.
was just making sure.
So,
And every relationship for those people is a battle,
right.
because they're never wrong, and that means every conflict means the other person is wrong, and so
Right.
they've got to go to battle.
And if
it's
you come
not
into
a good way to live.
right, you come, so yes, you could say they're fiercely loyal to themselves and those that are around them, but it's in a very, the perspective is all out of whack, right? And I think in some way, like with a lot of things, we want balance here, right? I want to be loyal to my friends and my family and those people who are, on my side, my church, and, those who are, part of my team here on earth, right? I want to be fiercely loyal to them, but you have to try to, to the extent we can, temper that with being
Knowing that they can make mistakes.
right. Absolutely,
They're not
that we
perfect.
all can, right? And so I don't know, just
I wanted to.
perspective and what it does with us is such an interesting phenomenon to me.
Have you guys heard the buzzword manifestation? You've heard the word, but have you heard it used in the sense of you can make something happen by visualizing it? You've maybe heard the concept before, or maybe you haven't heard it. People talk about manifesting. I manifested this. I wanted this career, and I thought about it, and I focused on it, and I envisioned it, and I made it happen with my mind by seeing things as I am. That's not what this is about. And I think manifestation, if there's anything to it, you start paying attention to different things, and you make things happen by paying attention and focusing in the right direction. But there's no magic here. There's no amount of meditation that's going to create a new reality. You have to make the right choices, do the right things, leave behind the habits that you don't need to have, leave old associations behind, network with the right people. There's nothing magical here. But if you know this wisdom, that you see the world as you are, and you don't like the world you're in, you can change your attitude and have a much better experience in this world. You have a choice to focus on everything that's going wrong or everything that's going right.
Yeah. While you're on that idea of that manifestation, and we're starting to do enough of these, we've had enough episodes that I'm starting to question myself about, have I told this story before?
Right.
Have y'all started doing that yet?
Yeah, I've wondered a couple times.
Maybe
yeah.
not.
I lost my train of thought earlier.
Clearly,
I'm off the rails.
Clearly, you've got more depth than I do because I don't know if I'm.
It just hit 10 o'clock and Jason's brain died.
I'm slowly going into.
I want to tell this story in relation to manifestation because I think it backs up just what you were saying. There was a lady that worked for me.
Heard it.
You heard it?
No, I'm just kidding.
You have a lot of stories that start with
mind.
that, though.
So a lady that worked for me as a project manager, and she was exceptional. And is a very religious person. But the denomination that she's part of has the prosperity theology concept. And it ties into this manifestation very well because basically her belief was she was going to be successful. And in a lot of cases, it manifested itself. It's very interesting but maybe in a little bit of a different way, right? Mm-hmm. If you start into something with the concept of, I'm going to win, this is going to be successful. Sometimes that's just positive thinking. It's a positive mindset, a can-do attitude. If there's an obstacle in the way, we're gonna win. I mean, you can have the same kind. You can have the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Hey, no way we're going to make this happen. And what's going to happen? A lot of times that's going to fulfill itself, right? And
an opportunity could come right by you and you won't even see it because you're so negative.
And so you'd assign her this project that's in the ditch or is very challenging, has tight timelines. And she was like, yeah, we got this. Now, in her mind, somewhat, she was thinking, we've got this because God will not allow this project to fail because he's blessing me. Mm-hmm. And while that's not sound theology, but that mindset carried her to a great deal of success because she had this, we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And it was just a very positive mindset. And it's just interesting that, when we talk about, and that's the reason that this sometimes gains a lot of momentum. And I think it's the reason, listen, if people who follow a prosperity theology were all abject failures, it'd fall apart pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in a lot of cases, they are not because they have this attitude of God's giving me the victory.
Yeah, the problem's just when things don't go right.
That's right.
They don't have any room in their theology for that. And the Bible is full of passages that explain what's going on when you suffer and that it's not necessarily your fault or in your control, that God can use those things.
Something that's in Matthew that stands out to me that goes along with this quote is when in Matthew 9, when Christ is calling the apostles and he calls Matthew and he sits down and he's reclining at the table with tax collectors and sinners and he's there with his disciples. It's interesting. The Pharisees are standing around looking at these men that Jesus is eating with and they comment, why does your teacher or why does your master eat with tax collectors and sinners? In Christ's mind, he's not eating with tax collectors and sinners. He's eating with souls. He's eating with opportunities. These are people that need his love. And you've got the same people sitting at the table with him, but the Pharisees are coming from a very judgmental, very rigid, legalistic, have set their own laws perspective. And Christ is coming from the, hey, I'm just here to save souls. This is and you've got, again, the same people being looked at by two different parties with totally different views on who these people are.
Right.
One is effective in what they're doing, and one is just pushing them away.
And which one of those is a clearer perspective, more likely to see things as they are?
Yeah.
The Son of God,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
So, that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. None of us can really see objectively. We can take God, who sees all, and look through him at the world. And that's our best shot at seeing reality as it is.
Well, because he defines what truth is. Now, we had a whole podcast about truth not being really defined very well because you played the clip from the lady with NPR.
Oh, right, yeah.
But in my belief, the ultimate truth, the ultimate objectivity is defined by God.
Yeah.
And we hear, on almost a daily basis now, the phrase living your own truth, right? And so, which is that's the complete other end of the spectrum from what we were just talking about there, right? Trying to look through the lens of God, right? We're trying to look through that lens of perfection, and we're not perfect. So there's always going to be some difference between things as they are and things at, seeing things as we are. We're not going to get this right, but we want to be on that end where we're striving to look for the truth. The other end that the world's in today is just whatever you want it to be. The however you see it as you are, that's the truth. And that
the problem with
doesn't work.
The problem with my own truth is you got that truth from somebody. You got it from your culture. You got it from your family. You got it somewhere. You picked it up somewhere. It's not just originating with you. And this quote says, take a step back and realize you are biased. Now, where did your biases, is it biases? Biases?
Biases.
Everybody knows what I mean. Where did that come from?
Biasi? I don't know.
I like that. Biasi.
I think you sounded smarter when you said biases. Maybe we need to try to do that.
Where did they come from?
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask.
Well, and we have to remember, too, there's no such thing. I don't think there's anything as a truly original thought. Even in Ecclesiastes, he talks about that there's these cycles, that life is just one big cycle, that what we're doing today, somebody has done and thought it in the past. It may have been forgotten. But that's the other side that's kind of humbling about this, is that we may have it as our perspective, but it was probably somebody's perspective before.
Well, from my perspective, this podcast is complete.
I've already got my glasses off. I'm ready to
Right.
go home, take a shower, and go to bed.
I'm
This old fella's
I'm
pretty tired.
Jason's brain died 15 minutes ago, so we better quit. I know everybody wants us to keep going on, but I'm just going to have to ask you to hold on another week. And if Jason and I can pull ourselves out of the pit of despair after our firstborns walk the stage tomorrow
night's a
night,
big night.
and receive their high school diplomas, we will be back. Maybe we'll have some stories, some graduation stories to share. We will definitely have something to share with you, so hang on until the next episode of Passings.